this. Take this down, and we're going to see what's going on here. This is the pre-show. Welcome to the pre-show, where we're going to be checking this out. We're going through a different system here, and we're streaming. Welcome to Livestream Masters. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that sounds pretty good. And let's see. I want to set this up. We're going to mark this as an announcement first of all. And I am going to see if I can get in the there we go. Got it. There we go. Gonna close that for now. Is that waiting? Because it's waiting for live video. Oh, but it says end. Not exactly sure what's going on there. So we should be on all. So let's do this. Hello. Do it that way. Twitch fail? Twitch failed. Why did Twitch fail? Are we live? Go over here. Let's go over here. Let's see if we're live. Everything's online. Online. YouTube, we got a few people on YouTube. Welcome, YouTubers. And that looks good. There we go. So we got about 3 minutes before we're going to start here, but I want to make absolutely sure everything's looking good. Huh. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. Do this. I'll copy that. I'll just paste it. There we go. Insights. There's no way. Add graphics to your live video. No, that's do that later. My live video is ended. Why? Let's try a different go to DC. Let's see what happens. Geekazine's still on. Why didn't that work? That's why I'm testing this. Let's do this again. Says it's online, so we'll go here. It happens. There we are. We're live again. Let's delete this one. Add that to announcements. Here we go. See how this works. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna keep this close by. Come on. There you go. That all out. Don't need that open. Don't need that open. Hopefully. I can restart. That out. Almost there, folks. All right. Okay, here we go. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. We'll keep the eye out there. We've got Tony says, hey, Tony, let's do this. Let's figure this out. So graphics, where are we? Captions. There's a way to do this. Show. There we go. Tony says, hey. I'm going to say hey back. And let's get this show on the road. So I'm going to do this, and hopefully nothing else will go cattywampus. Here we go. Oh, I forgot one thing. Hold on. Interesting. Where'd that go? Here. There we are. All right, let's get started. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine, and today, welcome to Livestream Masters, the show where we talk about live streaming in many different formats, ways, shapes, and stuff like that. I hope you're having a great day. It is Monday, March 1st, coming in like a lion, and I'm coming in like a lion. And I'm glad that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about a program called Restream and the ability to stream to multiple destinations on Livestream Masters. If this is the first time you've come to Livestream Masters, that's great. Thank you very much for coming over here. You could definitely ask questions. Most important, ask questions in the chat. Very important to do that, because then you'll have a little bit more information. Livestream Masters is what we're doing, and of course, it was over. I didn't put that link in here, so it's I'll put it on this one. It's facebook.com/groups/Livestream Masters, and if you go there, you'll come to this page right here, which is basically just a fun little page. Let's full screen. That's not full screen. That's full. I'm doing that wrong. Anyway, this is the place where you come. You can ask your questions on streaming and all that other stuff. Livestream Masters was formerly Wirecast Pros, where we talked about Wirecast. We definitely talk about we're continuing to talk about Wirecast, but a lot of you are live streaming in multiple destinations, so it's very important to me to keep in those destinations and keep things going from there. All right. I hope you're having a great day, making sure everything's still online. We're still good to go. Awesome. Because this is something new. I haven't really played with it all that. I've played with it on and off in the last year. I've been on Restream for, I don't know. It's something like over 2 years, I think it is now. And of course, we've had some ups and downs. We've had some great stuff. We've done some shows on the live end of Restream. And of course, I use Restream every single day. I do a 24/7 live channel to the YouTubes, to the Twitches, to the Facebooks, and of course, to the other channels like LinkedIn. Because you're seeing me on Twitch, you're seeing me on Facebook, you're seeing me on LinkedIn, you're seeing me on YouTube, and you're seeing me on, well, what will become Twitter, but is still Periscope or something like, I don't know. Anyway, so that's where we are, and that's how we're streaming, and that's where Livestream Masters is coming in the future here. We will be cross-platforming this fairly straightforward, fairly soon. And we're going to be doing that through Restream. And of course, one of our sponsors is going to be Restream. You can definitely join Restream by going over to geekazine.com/Restream and check that out. And of course, that is an affiliate code. That helps me keep the lights on. I do appreciate that. And we're going to be doing a lot more with Restream and Livestream Masters. So this is kind of the initial test subject from here. Let's get into some of the information, and then we'll get into the page, which of course we need to answer some questions. I think there's a few questions that we can ask here. First of all, last few weeks kind of been a little bit odd. I want to keep you updated on what's going on. I've had some personal issues in one of my eyes, basically, and so it's kind of been hard to get online to do anything. And normally, every day I participate in a thing called Office Hours, which is a daily show that where it's basically a Zoom call meeting, which we air on YouTube and in other. It's going to be soon going to be other places. So I'm a panelist on that, answering questions on live streaming, mostly towards the things that I've done in the last 10 years for my live streams, and of course, and learning a lot of stuff. In fact, right now, one of the things that we're learning on Office Hours is Davinci Resolve, and that's a platform I haven't touched it very well. So I have a copy of Resolve 17, and I've been playing with it. I did my first trailer through the training, and which is really cool. And I will definitely be putting out a video of the comparisons between what I'm editing now, which is Premiere Pro, and Davinci Resolve. I might do Final Cut Pro, but I don't know. I don't have the program. Even though I have Macs, I've never purchased the program. Didn't see a need to do that. So, and I like the idea of Premiere and Resolve being cross-platform because I work in a PC and I work in a Mac realm. So with that said, that's kind of important to have that back and forth because once again, I don't live in one environment. I can't live in one environment. I just grew up that way. You know, I grew up on Windows machines. I supported Windows machines. I supported Mac machines. So it's to be able to just take one side is just not one of those things that I can do. So, all right. So with that said, with the personal problems and everything like that, I haven't been getting on as much and doing live streams, and of course, the show being one of those things. It's with that and the Bell's palsy, my face just tightens up like a rock. And by the end of the day, I'm like this, I can't speak, and so I got to pick and choose my battles. If I want to keep doing what I love doing, which is this, I got to pick and choose my battles. And so I'm going to try and do that a little bit more. I've been doing a lot of Amazon Live because it's helping pay the bills. And that's a key factor in this whole thing. And of course, I'm doing some behind the scenes streaming. So basically, people are hiring me out, and I'm recording their stuff, doing some post mixing, things like that, so I can keep my toe in the water and not be on camera. I think the biggest thing is these lights being on, the cameras being on, me talking constantly. And I know some of you will say, "Well, I'll like that if you didn't talk constantly," but that's okay. This show is about me talking constantly, so you're going to have to suffer through that. And if you don't like it, well, tough patootie. Tough patootie. That's all I have to say. Anyway, so, but yeah, I'm hoping the issues will subside, and by June I'll be back to somewhat a sense of normalcy in this world. That will hopefully be back to a somewhat sense of normalcy, and everything normalcy on normalcy is normalcy with I don't know. Anyway, The whole point is that that's what's been going on, and so I've just kind of been laying low and making sure everything's still running. We still have a group here. And of course, I hope you guys ask questions. I hope you guys get on because we're going to test out this this Restream thing. Before all these issues, I had a very great 2.5 weeks of covering CES and NAMM. That's CES is Consumer Electronics Show. NAMM is the National Association of Music Merchants. So anything music tech related was at NAMM. Anything CES was at NAMM. Yeah, there was some crossover, but for the most part, I got a lot of interviews. Got some product demos in there too, which is great, and they're still being published. And once again, with everything that's going on, my schedule, just kind of taking some personal time into the schedule. A lot of the videos have not been published yet. I'm getting close there to the end of the list, but I think by mid-March I'll have all the videos at least on YouTube, if not also on Geekazine. In fact, this is Geekazine right here. Let's there it is right there. You can always go over there and check that out. We talked to Samsung. They have this thing called C-Lab, which is really cool. It's a group that basically C-Lab is, how do I put this? C-Lab is a test area where they have startups come in and they basically come to events like CES and they show off their products and see if it's worthy to actually produce. And this one was portable oxygen, and yeah, it's over here actually. Portable oxygen, which, can I move this over? Let's do that. Yeah, I can. Oh no, it doesn't do that way. Pooey balooey. No, that's all it does. Okay. So the whole point is that the portable oxygen allows you to, it's a mask and a canister, and the mask will give you like 2 hours worth of oxygen. So if you're in, let's say you're down in the subway and the smog level is just horrible, or something happens, you have to put on a mask, you can have this in your bag, you put it on 2 hours of oxygen right there. Really cool. And of course, NAMM, we got one from NAMM there, the Weiss EQ1 Precision EQ from SoftTube. So this is for any type of recording software that allows you to basically go in and make adjustments and tweak the EQ for what's called mastering of a track, making it sound as pristine as possible. So those are a couple programs that we have there. So with that said and done, let's see what else. Everything's still going. I'm just keeping tabs on the streams to make sure everything is still working. We got a few people on. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we will definitely, I'll definitely try and answer them as the show goes on, because that's what this show is about, answering your questions in live streaming. So with that said, I think we got everything that I was going to talk about. We talked about the CES and NAMM. Oh yeah, I will be doing some speaking in the next couple weeks and at Infocomm 21. I've spoken at Infocomm before, so it's really cool that I'm going to be going back. It'll be in Orlando, and was it October? I'll get you dates soon. But it's basically a short speaking role. I'll be on a panel, which is really cool. Yeah, I'll be there and I'll get some interviews. It'll most likely be one of my first out of studio conferences going to. So that'll be interesting. And I'll probably stay there an extra day to get some content as well and just kind of get back into this whole going to conference event thing. And hopefully by then I'll have all my vaccines and we'll be at some sort of normalcy, even if I'm wearing a mask going through the conference. That will be, because I think that's what's going to happen, is we're going to be wearing masks through events, at least for the next year, at least. So, one more thing before we start up here, and get your vaccine. Just get your vaccine. Just do it. Anyway, let's welcome our new members, Alfonso, Katia, and UpGood. And there's a bunch more, of course, with the other weeks that I wasn't on. Many different people joined. Keep in mind, in order to join this thing over at facebook.com/groups/Livestream Masters, you have to agree to the rules. It's a simple little checkbox. It says, boop, I agree. And then once you agree, you're in. If you don't agree, you're just going to sit there in the waiting room for a few days. And then I'm just going to say, sorry, because I'm going to give you a chance to go back and go, oh, I didn't agree to the rules. And I know it's a little bit confusing because on the page there, this has always been the rule. The main rule is to agree to the rules. But a lot of people don't do it. Even it would, however I said it, if it was through the do you agree to the rules checkbox or through an actual question, some people just didn't answer the question at all, and they didn't get in. It's a simple, very simple, or I'm sorry, very straightforward answer. If you don't see it on the main page, go to your phone app and call it up there and see, and then agree to the rules there. So, and I've sent this to Facebook. We'll see what happens. We'll see how they respond to any of this. Let me just do this really quick. All right, perfect. All right, with that said and done, let's just make sure everything's looking good here. I think we're here. It's still going. Yeah, that's looking good here. And with all that said and done, let me just refresh that. Let's get into the questions here. There I am. Hello. Spaceship Streaming goes, I'm shopping for a bonded internet system for the next couple of weeks. Teradek Video Go or LiveView Solo. Same price range, basically do the same thing. How do I choose? That's a good question. John Coles has a pretty good answer. Look at the brands. LiveView has been delivering bonded video for tier 1 broadcasters for many, many years, and that's true. I've used LiveView. I've seen people use LiveView. They've just been crazy good at doing that. I know Teradek is also a very well trusted name. As for Video U, I have never used them, so I'm not exactly sure. The cool thing about Teradek is it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more. I don't know, the hardware. It's part of a family of hardware, whereas LiveView is just basically a pack. So with Teradek, you can get a whole bunch. You can get a bunch of receivers and transmitters for whatever you want to do. And of course, the bonded unit being there. Very important to keep in mind of a bonded network that A, allows you to change out your SIM cards, and B, allows you to do, how do we put it? It's basically packets, sending the packets to both carriers. So when they get to the destination, they're not out of place. And that's what I'm dealing with right now. One of the things that I've been working on here is what's called Sd-Wan. And it's kind of similar to bonded cellular. I have 2 internets coming into the house. I have Spectrum and I have AT&T internet. Spectrum is the higher speed one with more bandwidth down and up. And then, of course, AT&T is a lower end one. And the whole idea is that if it fails, if Spectrum was to go down right now, everything should switch over to AT&T, and I should have somewhat of a seamless transition. When it comes to internet, when it comes to doing videos like this, live streaming like this, or anything like that, it should be able to switch over. And with SD-WAN, you can set rules to say, okay, I want you to prioritize the bandwidth over to Internet A as opposed to Internet B. And I can even put in an Internet C if I wanted to, and then run this through there. But the whole idea is that I'll be able to pick and choose what goes where, or just say, send it, and hopefully that that will work. But the bigger thing is how the packets get from point A to point B. And that's where the struggle comes in with SD-WAN and bonded internet. Is what it should be doing is it should be sending out packets both at the same time. So when it comes together, it's like puzzle pieces, and you're sending half of the puzzle through UPS and another half of the puzzle through USPS, the postal service, and they both get there. They'll both get there at the same time. Let's just take that equation out of there. They both get there at the same time, but there's still a whole bunch of pieces. And with things like video, it really has to be, piece 1 has to be there before piece 2 can get there. And so it can make the puzzle in the right way. Now, if with them both coming in, it's telling the instructions at the base that, okay, we're still waiting for piece 2. Here comes, there it is. Now we can go to piece 3, piece 4, so on and so forth. So it's got to go through both ways. Same thing with bonded internet. It's got to go through, even though it's got to go through both networks to get to the destination, so it can build the puzzle. And that's the bottom line. So hopefully that answers the question. Thanks to John for answering that. Next one is we got a few pictures here from Marty, and let's go back here. Marty says, working on Saturday night, directing a 2.5-hour stream fundraiser using a TriCaster TC2 with 5 people, live on Skype and streaming to Zoom. So this is his setup right there. And of course, he's streaming. He said he's streaming to Zoom. Let's see, we got the TriCaster TC2 right here. That looks like a Pile podium microphone, and I know that because I have one. And what else we got here? We've got a few monitors. One that's looks like it's got the email schedule up there, and then that looks like the we got multi-view monitors there, and then of course the control panel monitor, and then it looks like what's the live stream, which is over on the right here. Let's go to the next picture. We got lots of monitors here showing a whole bunch of things. It looks like on the far left, we've got where they're ingesting each person's video. And there's one person talking right now, so there's one video. Second person, which doesn't have their video on, and then bars, basically, on the sides. It looks like, I don't know if that's graphics or if that's a background there, but you get the idea. So he's working on that. That was in the background. That's this picture right here. So let's continue on. There he's doing some more. They're doing some more production there, and pretty cool. So good job, Focal Point Productions. Thanks a lot for participating and adding to the show here. Andre goes, is it possible to have more than 7 guests in Rendezvous? Andy's going, unless you have multiple enterprise ISP drops, I would not try that. Rendezvous, let's see, Rendezvous, under Wirecast Pro, you should be able to do more than 4, if I remember correct. I don't normally do things through Rendezvous. I'm still a little bit burned on how Rendezvous works. And don't worry if you're on vMix or OBS Ninja, I'm also not going to go that route either. First of all, I don't do too many multiple ingests. If anything, I've had 3 people come in on lines. How I do it is I do it through Zoom. And what I'll do is I'll put people in individual rooms, and they'll come in, and we'll have a center point where the video will then send back out to their specific rooms. So they'll have their conversation. I'll record it here on individual ISOs. So I can, either that or I'll do a burn-in video. It depends on whether I'm post-producing it or not. But then I'll bring them in and I'll do what I need to do to get the show out from there. So basically, they'll be on separate computers. And of course, if there is a presentation, that presentation will be on its own screen as well. And then I'll ingest it that way. And I'll either do the burn-in video, which I'll use my switcher or something like my ATEM Mini to do the switching ingestion. And then, of course, I'll probably record stems if I do post-production from there. So that's how I would do it. And the thing about Zoom is I can get 720p on my video, which is great. Not all of you can do that, and I get that. Excuse me. But you can also go through things like Skype and stuff like that. And how I'll do it through a Skype is I'll actually have 2 or 3 Skype sessions, and then each computer will have one of the Skype sessions up, and then I'll do the one-on-one, same thing as I'm doing with Zoom. And of course, with that comes its own problems. Zoom has over graphics so you have to stretch out the screen a little bit. Skype has the Skype logo, which you can't really, it's kind of there. It's kind of like my bug. It's hard to cover, but it can be done. And yeah, So you have all those different options, but that's how I go through it. And it's more hardware based. The cool thing about that is I can set it up on different internets. So I can have them ingest in their own way. They're all on different computers. So if one computer crashes, the other ones stay up. And that's kind of a cool thing. I'm just kind of spreading out the load. And but when we get into something like more than 5 ingests, I'll look at a different solution. And most likely that solution will not include all of the bandwidth coming back to my house. It'll probably involve something like AWS or another service. And keep in mind, getting another service is not a bad thing, because there are services that do multi-ingests. In fact, there's one out there that, you know, if you saw the Tony Robbins thing, where he had thousands of Zoom people on a big board, and he could pull people up and say, John from Worcestershire, Massachusetts, come on down. And then he'd have a big screen of that person. They'd have a one-on-one conversation. That guy would go back in the crowd. Or maybe you're seeing it on the NBA games. You see the stands with people in the stands. That's Microsoft Teams, by the way, for the most part. Or you're seeing, you know, WWE's been doing this. They have people in the seats that are sitting at home that are going through something like Zoom or Skype or something like that to get things going. So that is, I would go with the third party at that point. Once you get past, I'd say 4 people, maybe you could probably get away with 8, but I would kind of separate it out on 2 machines at that point, and then merge them together. So you would actually need to have 2 machines running Wirecast and 1 machine that could put it all together for you to set out. But the more people that come onto your show, the more complex it goes. Or you could do something like we're going to be doing. Actually, it would be the reverse of what we're doing, and that is use a service like Restream and see if there's a way to do that. You can only bring, I think you can only bring 4 people onto Restream. But if you bring those 4 people there to bring into here, and then another 4 people to bring into here, that makes life a lot easier. But I'm just spitballing on top of my head there. So let's move on here. Andy says 24/7 YouTube live stream advice. Need a persistent embed code for the homepage, but YouTube has done away with the channel stream and had a persistent player as well as the RTMP credentials. So this one, I responded to Andy specifically because I do this. If you go to Geekazine.com, in fact, we'll go to Geekazine.com right now, and you go down here, there I am talking live. That is basically a persistent page, and I don't have to change that. If I stop this stream, I don't know if you can hear me. I should check to see if you can hear me here. Okay, yeah, you can hear me here. So basically, when I am offline, this says that it's offline. And then when I'm online, it just starts playing the video. So I can continue on. That embed is there, and it allows me to, send out a stream. Now, to do that, I basically I use a service like Restream, or I go through the non-scheduled stream. So if I go through a service, I'll say I need to do YouTube Stream Now, because there still is a Stream Now option there, but it has to go through third parties. And then when it happens, I'm able to have that embed on my page. Now, there's probably a way to do it for other embeds, and I haven't figured that out yet, but you can do it this way, and it'll work fine. So hopefully that helps there, Andy. I hope you figured out a good answer on that. So let's move on from here. Let's get back into the questions here really quick. Oh yeah, I did ask a question, a poll question. Which hardware do you use to stream? Of course, lots of people from Wirecast that use Wirecast are still on here, and they said Wirecast. There are some people that use vMix. I wanted to show you not what primary stream service you're using. But I wanted to show you that we all live in a cross-stream platform. And right now, I'm cross-streaming using Restream to send out the encode. So you don't know what my main interface is. It could be Wirecast, it could be vMix, it could be OBS for that matter. It could be, I could be on my Mac and using Ecamm. I could be using, there are many different ways to get from point A to point B. And sometimes to get from point A to point B, you got to create a point A, point 2, an alternate A. And there's advantages to doing this cross-platforming. And one of them is you can start on one computer and you can cross it to another computer and then you can send it out. Right now, for this stream, everything is being done on one computer. But I could send this to my stream machine, and then my stream machine can be sending it out to Restream. So I'm sending something internal to the to another machine. That other machine is then, all it's doing is worrying about sending it out. Whereas this computer is worrying about switching and maybe some graphics. Although I do have the web page on another machine, which is sitting down here. So when you see this page right here, this one right here, there we go. That's actually being pulled from another computer into my computer. So the majority of my work process is not being sucked up by that web page. And it's not being, and then of course, if I streamed it to the other machine to go out, it wouldn't, part of the process is not sucked up in encoding to another service. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, as you can see, we have a pretty diverse group here. We've got at least 6 people that do online streaming from Restream or StreamYard or anything like that. You got the majority of people on Wirecast or vMix. And then, of course, we have some people that responded to there. So I'm glad that you did. Thank you. Feel free. The poll is definitely open. So definitely continue to ask questions there. All right, let's move on. The next question is, hey guys, I'm setting up a streaming project where I'll have an original broadcast in Portuguese, but I'll need to insert the final result into another Wirecast session to place the simultaneous translation in English over the original audio and broadcast in a second room. Does anyone know a method for me to do this? Well, there is, and Richard responded with using Zoom supporting multiple. So he's got a streaming project. Let me just make sure I understood this. He's got a streaming project where he's got an original broadcast in Portuguese. He'll need to insert the final result into another Wirecast session to place the simultaneous translation in English over the original audio. So it has, and broadcast in a second room. Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, that's fairly straightforward. Well, first of all, Wirecast does have the ability to encode multiple channels and do multiple encodes. So you could do it on one computer, but depending on the importance, I would probably split this up into multiple computers. And of course, that would mean multiple Wirecast instances to do so. The first Wirecast instance would be your Portuguese. So, and I don't know if somebody needs to hear to translate or if they already have it translated script-wise. We're assuming that the English channel will need to listen to what it's being said in Portuguese and translate it that way. So, the first string going that way. You can do multiple ways to send it to the other machine in the other room. A hardwire is always the best. And how I would hardwire that is in Wirecast, I'd actually set the output, go to output, and I'd go to multi-viewer output. And then I'd set up one of the multi-viewers to single screen. I've done this for years, how to actually record this onto disk. I will send that multi-viewer single screen, and you got to turn off the borders, and you also have to uncheck the box that says hide all displays when application is in the background. And when you uncheck that, basically, it means if you click off of Wirecast, it's going to make that screen disappear unless you have that unchecked. Once you have that unchecked, then that screen is persistent. The only other problem you have to worry about is not moving the mouse over to that screen. But anyway, I used that multi-viewer. That would send the HDMI signal to the other computer. You can also use NDI to send it from computer to computer. I do that all the time too. And then on Ethernet, you don't want to go wireless, of course. An Ethernet cable going to the other computer. There's a way to direct it from one computer to the next on its own network. Do it. The second computer, of course, they'll have the earbud in. Try and get the audio from the original computer. So maybe the person's got a wireless unit in, or maybe a wire that's audio from here. And there's a reason why I'm saying this. I'll talk about that in a second. So they'll have the Portuguese announcer in their ear. They'll make the translation. And then, of course, that'll stream out. And the first one, of course, that'll go to one room. Or, yeah, the main room for Portuguese. And then the second one will go to the secondary room. They'll be on separate machines. Try to be on separate internet. And sending it up. Now, I was talking about using the audio from, and I would even go to the point where you'd set up another microphone in front of the person speaking Portuguese, if you can, or get the audio from the board. And the reason why is because when it gets to Wirecast, there's going to be an ever so slight delay. You can probably notice this. And then when it gets out of that Wirecast going to the secondary Wirecast for the English speaking, there's going to be even a little bit more delay. By them hearing before people speaking, they can translate and try and keep as close to what's being said as possible. So right now, if somebody was in another room translating, I would have them hooked up to my main mixing board so they can hear it. So whatever language they translate in, they'll translate it, and it will stay as close as possible to the original speech. So hopefully that made sense. If they're scripting it, you might not have to worry about that too much. So if they're just basically reading from a script, then that's fine. Maybe they'll have to hear it. And if that's the case, I would do as direct audio as possible before it even gets into Wirecast. And that same thing goes with vMix, same thing goes with OBS. And you can easily use something like vMix as one on one and Wirecast on another. Or I don't know if OBS will, there's been concerns that OBS doesn't get into the machine, especially if you're on Macs. So, you'll have to deal with that. But you get the idea that it go from one to the other. You want to have the audio go straight to the interpreter, not through the program. So hopefully that made sense. And Andre, if you need more information on that, let me know, and we'll definitely go from there. So, all right, last thing I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to get going here, is last week, Blackmagic came out with their new ATEM Mini Pro. And this is the ATEM Mini Extreme, not Mini Pro Extreme. There's going to be two flavors, Mini Pro and, Mini Extreme and Mini Extreme ISO. This gives you 8 channels, camera inputs, which you can mix and match. You can have video shots. You could have desktop computers going in through HDMI cables. You could have whatnot. You could even probably have some interesting loop back. If let's say you wanted to record what's going out, streaming out to people, you could loop that back into channel 8. And then all that's doing, channel 8 is doing, is recording that video. But of course, if you're using the ATEM Mini, all the switching does record onto its own channel through ISO there. So, but you have different options. The other thing about the ATEM Mini Extreme and Mini Extreme, well, the ATEM Mini Extreme gives you the ability to do two. What do they call it? I can't think of it. Let me expand this. I know I put it in here. Two independent DVEs, and it gives you super source. And what is super source? Super source is the ability to do more than one video onto the screen. So you can go up to 4 cameras. So you can have a split screen of 4plex. So if you're doing interview shows and stuff like that, 4plex is a way to do that. And you create these super sources, excuse me, with the one unit. And then you can run a whole show through there. I am debating whether to get the Mini Extreme. I have the Mini Pro ISO right now, which does a great job. It's set up on my drum set right now and recording 4 cameras at a time. That's what I wanted it to do. So I've been highly debating the 8. I know it. Eventually I'm going to need it, but I don't have a use for it just yet. So I might just wait a little bit to see if there's any new versions that come out with that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, all right. With that said, I think we're still good. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. We've got a full chat there. We got a few people that are watching and clicking on there. Let's get back up here. See if there's any questions here. And I think we lost. What did we lose? I don't think we lost anything, did we? Hold on a second. What's going on here? Checking something out here really quick, making sure we're still on. Yeah, we're still good. Still says we're good. There we are. Okay. There we are. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure that we're still live because I'm running something different here. All right, let's get into the main topic here, and that is Restream. I've used Restream.io for a little while now. Like I said, let me just call it up on this machine here, and we'll say I hate it when that happens. There we go. Do that and do that. All right, there we go. So this is Restream.io. It's basically a live stream being able to send your video to multiple destinations, whether it be Twitch, whether it be Facebook, whether it be YouTube, whether it be another Facebook. You could do multiple streams into there. Many different ways to do it, to use it. And what I do is I have a 24/7 channel. And basically, after I just talked about this, when I stream, I have a machine down in the basement that has all my videos, and it will stream on a loop, and then that'll send it to Restream, which will then send out to different destinations. When I first started my live stream, I started it sending the stream out to YouTube and Twitch from that computer, which did a decent job. But every time I had bandwidth issues, it would stop one and then stop the other. With this, I can send it out to multiple destinations, and it handles the re-encoding to the other networks. So, and of course, now we're going to more networks. We're going to YouTube, we're going to Facebook, we're going to Twitch, we're going to Periscope, which will soon be Twitter. We're going to LinkedIn, and then a custom RTMPs. Like maybe you're sending it to a CDN or something like that, and then you can store it there. So you have everything going to one place, which then sends it out to multiple places, saving you on bandwidth, so you can do other things on your computer without the mainstream going down. Restream has created what's called the Live Studio Pro, which is a web-based app that allows you to do some control. So you can forego the computer that I have down there, or even the switcher that I have here. Now, the switcher I have here, I'm just telling you, I'm running Wirecast right now. And all the switches, like this one right here, to this one right here, to this one right here, even this one over here, and then back to here, that's all being done through Wirecast like I normally do. However, if I do this right here, showing you my screen for Geekazine, that one is being run by Restream. And when I do it this way, now you're seeing a picture-in-picture of me and my screen on my webpage at Geekazine over here. And that is being run through Restream. When Tony said hi, I could easily put hello from Tony into the chat. There's a lot of people that are using it this way because it gives them a little bit more control, not only for recording. Like right now, I could literally record this, and then I could have extra graphics going on the screen that you see, but my recording will not have those graphics. So then I could do some post-production. Like for instance, I could come in, I could say, I could put this lower third on here the whole time. And then if I decide, well, I'm recording it from the base, from the main machine, and if I have any problems, then I can take that recording, and it doesn't have that lower third that you're seeing right now on the system. In fact, you'd see it. I don't know if there's no way you can see it like that. But this is basically just some extra stuff through Restream. And you can change lots of different things. We can also put in graphics. And they got a great bunch of graphics. Like, for instance, a logo overlay. There's the logo overlay from Restream. My Geekazine logo. And I can set that up in many different ways. I could have it set up down here with the fade, just like with this one, kind of match this one, or I could put in the other corner or whatnot. I could put in the Restream logo. I could put in other logos, coming back soon, whatever. I got overlays like this one right here. I haven't created any overlays, so you can definitely have some fun with it. You can also put in some video and some backgrounds. I've got a couple backgrounds. Let me show you this one right here. So when I turn off my video, you'll see it. You're seeing it right now. That's the Geekazine logo right back there. This is the one I normally have, which is kind of more faded with all my Geekazine logos from start to today. Or, can have some fun stuff, little bubbles. You can pretty much upload any type of image for a background. Same thing with videos. Like, for instance, they have a countdown timer. So if you want to... and that of course you couldn't hear me because that was an overlay for the countdown timer. But you can do other videos like this one. And even more, you could put in your own videos. Like, for instance, I was trying to upload one, but then I had to refresh this page to get things to work. So I didn't do that. But you could put in interviews and things like that. And I could run a show where I could have the interviews go through there. And then, of course, talk about it afterwards. So I could pre-record some interviews. And I could have a 2-hour show where I'm talking about things, do a little bit of interview video, come back, talk a little bit more, another interview video, so on and so forth. So I even have the chat options because, like Angel just said, hello. Let's pull it up. just joining, not sure if this has been asked yet, but we use Wirecast Pro, and I'm curious if there's a walkthrough tutorial of anything I may need to do to have success. Ooh, good question. There's a lot of things, Angel, that for walkthrough tutorials. I would do a lot of checking on YouTube. I have a few tutorials, although they're a little bit out of date nowadays. But there are some people that have built some good tutorials on there. I'll definitely check that up for you and get you an answer. Ask that question over at Wirecast Pros. That's where are we? Or I'm sorry, did I say Wirecast? I meant Livestream Masters. I do that every now and then. That's over at facebook.com/groups/Livestream Masters. So, all right. So, but as you can see, that was just as easy to bring up his question, Angel's question, and go from there. So you can put in captions, like for instance, ask questions in the chat. Boom, right there. You can also, I do have an affiliate code for Restream. That's over at geekazine.com/Restream. Feel free to sign up that way. That helps me keep the lights on. So you have a lot of different options. And then, of course, the setup. Right now, we're live streaming to Twitch. We're live streaming to YouTube. We're live streaming to Facebook in 2 Facebook areas. One at facebook.com/Geekazine and one at facebook.com/groups/Livestream Masters. On YouTube, we're on LinkedIn. So if you're watching from LinkedIn, welcome to LinkedIn. On Periscope, you can create destinations, and depending on which plan you get, they have a basic plan, then they have a business and professional plan. And I have a higher end plan, which allows me to go to multiple destinations. And with that, I can stream out to 2 Facebook streams at once. Let's see. There's other ones. Let's hit this button. So you can go to things like Daily Motion. If you have a Daily Motion account, you can go to VLive, LinkedIn, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, VK Live, which is Russian, D Live, which is from China. Keiko TV, which is China, Naver TV. In fact, we'll bring this over here. I'll just show you this from here. So, because none of my credentials are on here. So, Nemo TV, Japan, China, Africa, and different ones. In Russia, you can go to Steam. You can go to Breakers TV, Telly TV. If Steam, if you're doing any type of gaming stuff, you could easily go there. I got the wrong graphic on the background there. That's a pretty cool graphic. We'll leave that up. So Angel goes, okay, thanks, by the way. You are welcome, Angel. I'll try and answer this after this part and try and give you a better answer. If you just stick around a little bit, please. So anyway, as you can see, you can do this. And then, of course, you have other channels right here. If you've got the higher tier, I believe you can set up these. We have Facebook Live. This is where you go to groups and pages. If you've got a Wowza media system, you can send it to Wowza, and then that will go to even more channels as needed. Or let's say that you're cross-platforming. So I'm going to all of my Geekazine channels. I can then send it to Wowza. Let's say my buddy's on Wowza. I wish the video, I could move the video over to the other side. But anyway, my buddy's on Wowza. I could send RTMP to that person, and then they could go to their YouTube, their Twitch. So we'd have a full cross-platform with multiple channels involved. So my subscribers would see what's going on. Their subscribers would see what's going on. And we would cross-pollinate things. How cool is that? I think it's very cool. There's a lot of fun things you can do. Like, for instance, I talked about videos. This is the easiest way to play a local video. And I'm going to do one of my interview videos. And this is going to take, we'll do this for a minute here. I'm just going to load this up really quick. We'll talk about this one right here. This is an interview I did. It's called Crew in a Box. Why didn't that open the video? Oh, there it is. Okay. This is called Crew in a Box. This was a really quick one-on-one interview. We'll play like a minute or two on it and go from there. So here it is right here. It's virtual CES 2021 at Geekazine.com. Consumer Electronics Show 2021. Jeffrey Powers here, and we are here with Ira from Crew in the Box. Really cool. I got to talk to you guys last week, and just amazing. And people like you and I are looking for ways to take cameras, send cameras and video equipment to other people so that we can have one-on-one conversations like this. And because a lot of times it's like coming from really bad webcams, coming from really bad lights. And I do have to admit there's been a couple interviews where it's not been great video. Audio's been decent, so you just have to live with it. But you're in an industry where you can't have bad video. So you created this. Tell everybody who you are, what you do, and a little bit about Crew in the Box.
Sure. So I'm Ira Rosenzweig, and I'm a commercial director by trade. Over the past, I have my own production company, Wavemaker Creative, but I also freelance for other companies. And, I've done some Super Bowl spots the last few years. And luckily, most of the clients or the talent, I should say, that I work with are celebrities. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I think it was March 17th, when the LA lockdown order went into effect, or at least was being talked about, I panicked like I figure a lot of other people did. And didn't know when I was going to get back to work. So I said to myself, what could I do to get myself and my friends back to
Let's
work
unmute it.
faster?
That would help if I unmute it. So I have lowered down his audio. So we got him talking about a thing called Crew in a Box, which is basically a little box that you send that somebody opens up, sets up a couple lights, and has a camera rig right in front of them, which is really cool. And you'll see it in a second. But as you can see, we can talk about the video. I can bring in video easily. I can lower myself and
a lot of the times talent was responsible for filming themselves, and that is the last thing that you want talent to be worried about, assembling equipment and putting it together and then making sure they look good. So I thought to myself, I have the relationships. If I could come up with a solution that would be essentially plug and play,
and then duck it back down and do this and then switch it back over. So I'm here and he's talking. You get the idea. So we'll turn that off because we'll come back here. But you get the idea. And I'm doing that through a different system as opposed to this. Now, the thing about if I was recording on my home system, I wouldn't be able to capture any of that. I would have to rely on YouTube, Twitch, that's doing the recording to get that part of the information and go from there. But it's really easily switchable. 6 months ago, we did interview style with, actually it was 5 people. It was myself and 4 other people. We called it the afternoon show. And we were playing with the features of Restream. And we were able to go back and forth and have a conversation. And at that point, they added new stuff. And I was like, oh, wow, you can do this and you can do this. And since then, they've added even more stuff. And they changed some stuff around. So let's do this. And this is going to be a little bit weird because you're going to see a little inception going on here. I'm going to take it over to this screen. And we're going to bring this in. There's our inception. But I'm also going to bring it so it kind of looks a little bit better with me here. So this is kind of the screen in question here. This is how it all works. You have your main live studio part here. You have your shots. Like for instance, there's me, and then there's the screen, and then there's that interview I was just talking about. I can set this up by basically. Well, that's interesting. Oh, can you see that mouse? It's not. That's interesting how that mouse is setting up. But anyway, I can set this up so I can bring this full screen. And you'll see some of the chat there. And of course, bring it down and you'll see me and go back and forth. On the bottom here, we'll go full screen again. On the bottom here, you have your, mouse is in, oh, I see what's going on there. Okay. On the bottom here, you have your different things, your containers, That's what's highlighting right now. So I could go picture in picture. I could go cinema. So if I brought this in, let's say I brought it in like this. This is the side-by-side thumbnails. But let's say I want to do this. I'll do a picture in picture. So now I'm down here. I could do a half screen. And if there was if we had the third thing here
really
with the interview,
one solution that just works.
There we go. We'll bring this down. So now I've got 3 screens open, and it could be three people being interviewed or whatnot, and I can do more. I can 4 people plus myself, so 5 people total. And we can do a side by side like this, where we've got that, and then I can turn that off. I can bring that highlight. Let's turn that off, and that brings me down. And if I turn off the screen, that brings me to the main center. So different options, different ways to set up your system to make it look the way you want it to look, minus that inception. Over here, this is where some of the details are. Setup is not where I'm not going to go into setup because you might see some of my credentials. Graphics, this is where you can do those countdown clocks. You can create your own countdown clock and upload it to their system. You have the backgrounds, which, I showed you that before, including the Geekazine background. So now if I do that and let's see. Oh, let's go side by side. There we go. There's the Geekazine background or the blocks. I could go to blocks if I wanted to. Simple as that. I'll go back here. Maybe not. There we go. So now we're back here. So you have that with all of those features. Whoops. Anyway, there we are. Okay, perfect. So, so that's the graphics side. You have captions. So, like for instance, the caption to join Restream. There it is, right there. Back and forth. There's my lower. I got my lower third there, and you can change the graphics on this. This is basic here, and then of course the chat. So I could bring in Angel's last question right there. Back and forth. I can, there's an RTMP beta, which means that I can send this to another RTMP source if I wanted to. The settings allow me to choose my video input and audio input and how I want to send this out. I'm sending it out 1080p, 30 frames per second. However, depending on where you're seeing it from, you might be seeing it in 720. It'll dumb it down. I have the ability to do echo cancellation, noise suppression, and stereo output if I wanted to. But in this case, we don't need to. Bring that down. Play a local video. We just basically hit this and hit open video. It brings up the Finder or your screen where you can go to locate the video. You can invite guests, and it'll give you this code, which you copy that code, and basically what happens is they get a email link, which then goes to a web page. They then say, yes, I want video, I want audio to attach on there, and then you're having a conversation. And that link, I think that changes from time to time, and I don't think you saw the whole one. So you have your screen sharing, which is what we're doing right now, but I can choose, if you have more than one monitor, you can do screen sharing from there. Not more than one screen. So if I decided to screen share my other screen, I just turned it off, I'll turn it on, and I'll do my other screen share, which is basically where is it? There it is. That's, my Wirecast screen, and you're seeing that right now. So we'll turn that off, and we'll turn it back on to the other screen, and we'll share that. So it only does one screen at a time, even if you have multiple screens on the computer. So maybe that'll be a feature in the future to do a multiple screen share, but not right now. So, and that's basically the interface. And of course, this has a whole bunch of different options. You got the dashboard. You can set up events. You got your video storage. If you run video storage, oops, wrong one. Sorry. There we go. Let's turn that off. There we go. And then let's go to this one right here. There we go. So with video storage, if it's recording as it's going, so you have another place to get your recording if all else fails. We have a scheduler, which I think is going to get depreciated, so you can actually schedule your streams. And then you got the chat app, which is beyond this. It's actually a pull-out chat that you can use. So if you're not watching this screen, you can definitely have the chat and on another window and corner watching people ask questions. You got a monitor, you got the help center, settings, and all that other stuff. So that's the full item in a nutshell through here, through the Livestream app. Let me pull this back. So you have options. The cool thing, like I said, is I have this set up to do all my things like the lower thirds and you know, stuff like this. I can control all my cameras here. I could send it to there. That would then maybe control the graphics and then send it out. So I could have clean feeds coming in on this one of the camera shots. I could have graphics going through there, including lower bugs and whatnot, and then send it out to you. And then I have a recording, so if everything fails, I can go back and I say, I don't want to put those lower thirds up. You know, maybe create clips, really quick clips, replays and things like that, ISOs. So you can then put it on Facebook as little 30-second snippets, as opposed to 1 hour, 11-minute videos. Got a few people watching. Thank you guys very much for watching, by the way. And go from there. So this is a full system that allows you to create whatever you need to create through the web, through a web page. Now, pros and cons. First of all, big con is if you have internet issues, this has internet issues. So, like for instance, if I'm running from my system, I can have my system recording. So if the internet goes down, I still have the recording. So if I'm not recording here, then I'm relying on recording here through the internet page, and that could cause problems. So that is a small con. But the pro is I'm saving bandwidth by going to a service that sends it out to the multiple services, including LinkedIn, including YouTube, including Twitch, including Twitter. So I can focus on what I need to focus on. And I could literally send this part off to somebody else where they log on and they can control the questions and answers. So I'm focusing on doing the basic switching. Somebody else can focus on putting the graphics in and putting up questions and things like that. So I could have that chat box on the corner here, and I said, okay, let's go to question, let's go to Angel, and then somebody else could hit that button, and then it would show the question there on the bottom. And then every now and then it'll just basically go, well, let's give them a lower third and bring that up, and then hide that. You get the idea. It's got the ability to give you somebody else some production to a stream. Yeah, give somebody else some production to the stream. So it allows you to do that all together. So to sum up, this is Wirecast Pros, or I'm sorry, Livestream Masters, going through what I normally go through, switching like I normally switch, going into Restream, giving you cool titles, graphics, overlays, and even videos, going out to multiple encoders, encoding destinations, to YouTubes, to Twitches, to wherever you need to go. So that's pretty much it here. Let's see if there's any questions here from there. I don't think there's any other questions. And the cool thing about that chat, by the way, is it's cross chat. So if somebody posts something on YouTube, it'll show up there, and then I'll be able to answer it. Like for instance, let me do this. Let's go here. I see nobody's asked a question on the page, but we'll say hello. We'll go like that. So now it says hello on Livestream Masters. So it should come back over here. It's not. Or, you know, they can go through, they can, normally it does that. Maybe this is because I'm going through multiple Facebooks. I don't know. That's interesting. Thought that would work. Let's see what the chat says, the other chat app says. Open it in a browser. Do this again. We'll go hello. Yeah, it's not sending it to there. Not sure why. That's interesting. Some kinks to work out, I suppose. But if I can go over to my LinkedIn, let's do it that way. Maybe it can't see my comments. That might be it. LinkedIn's taking a second to load up. Hold on. There we go. So I'll come into my live stream. There we are. And let me just say hello there. And it might be the fact that I'm saying hi. Let's do it from my, yeah, anyway. So as you saw, Angel was there. So it can do a lot of cross-posting from there. So, all right. That does it basically for Restream. If you do want to get Restream, you want it to support the channel, you can join it over at geekazine.com/Restream. That'll take you right to the link where you can sign up and go from there. Of course, you can go over, and I didn't, we'll just use this one. Go over to facebook.com/groups/Livestream Masters. That's where you'll want to sign up for this page right here to get into the group. And as you can see, we have a lot of great people, over 1,000 people that are asking questions. So ask your questions there. And yeah, we'll go from there. So, all right, that does it for this episode. And these graphics are the graphics I normally use anyway. So it's coming from my machine here. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, put in a geek, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. And you guys geek out. I hope this has helped. Ask questions down in the chat below, in the forum below, and yeah, if there's a chat there, if there's a way to comment there, ask the questions there. If there's a way to like there, subscribe there, and then comment and contact me. Tell me what you want to learn about for the next Livestream Masters. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Once again, you guys geek out. Take care, and see you later. Take care.